How to Create a Glitch Monologues Season 30 Chapter 5. This is Season 30 of How to Create a Glitch in the Matrix Monologues Episode 5. In this episode, we will be talking about the implications of orthogonal thought in the relation between labor and capital. It is the element of abstraction, the quality of removing the personal from the experience, pursuant to economic activity, in the payment of capital for labor, which promotes the generation of orthogonal thought. But, what are the implications of this orthogonal thought? We explained in previous podcasts how the removal of the tension from the experience causes the experience to be appropriated according to social reinforcement, and the tension to be absorbed, so to speak, by the consumer of the product, separately. That is to say, that the tension causes reactive emotionality in some other, drawing that other more closely through continuity in their experience. If they fail to further generate orthogonal thought in response, the result is the absorption of dissonance in their tonic-dominant relationships. Furthermore, in other words, the payment of capital for labor alienates the payer from others, or it produces further orthogonal thought, which alienates some other from their tonic-dominant relationships. Thus, the existence of currency begets social alienation, for the payer of money for service achieves in that payment the alienation of themselves or others. Likewise, labor represents the sublimation of one's impulses, and in so doing manifests the removal of the personal from the experience. In other words, the fundamental foundation of capitalism is the alienation of capital from labor, the manifestation of dissonance in the relationships of the payer. In the alternative, this dissonance can be repackaged and sold to some further purchaser, through intellectual sublimation of the reactive emotionality caused by the receipt of orthogonal thought from labor. The isolation of the bourgeoisie is guaranteed by their capital, the translation of labor into dissonance in their relationships, or reactive emotionality, their integration and continuity. That is to say, capital begets emotional dysregulation, a lack of sublimation or inhibition. The abject expression of all heretofore inhibited impulses. With one caveat, that further sublimation results in radiation of that sublimation to the consumers of the product of exegesis. The division of integration according to class lines follows from economic activity that translates labor into capital. Integration is fundamentally the product of a lack of a capacity for sublimation and a possession of capital. That's the end of the podcast for today. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment and subscribe.